Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Crypto Scene Investigation, where we talk about the latest cryptocurrency projects and we ask ourselves, is this going to be worth investing in? Not just the latest, sometimes a little bit older ones as well. If you like what I do in this channel, please consider liking and subscribing. And if you have any positive things to say, please feel free to comment them down below as well. If you have any negative things, or you're like, hey man, I reckon that you are wrong about all this, then please give me proof. I'm really wanting to create a community where we can, speak truth about projects and not just be a bunch of maxis and shillers. Cool. So this is Metagalaxy Land. Also, another disclaimer: this should not be considered as legal financial advice. It should only be used for entertainment, inspirational, and educational purposes. Metagalaxy Land. It's kind of cool. As you can see, the price is incredibly low. But is that actually what that means? Let's have a look at Shiba Inu. So its max supply, as you can see, is not going to read the number out. I feel like it's probably 1.380 trillion, maybe. It could be more. Actually, I think it might be more. Anyway, so its current market cap is 2.7 million. Now, isn't that interesting? 2.7 million. So this is very, very low. This is very, very low if that market cap is completely legit. So we can't exactly see from the on-chain analytics to see if that is exactly true. But we'll have a look at some other details. So as we can see, the price went all the way from, I'm not going to read those zeros, a bunch, and then it had a fat dip all the way down there, and then it is climbing back up around about here. So it's only really been released for about less than 2 months. Yeah, it's probably only really just touching on a month from what I can see. No, actually, that's about 2 months. Sorry, beg your pardon. So let's have a look at some of the other details about this project. So essentially, these guys are a game. They're currently available on BitTrue and PancakeSwap, so they're not available on any big name exchanges, but I feel like these guys can honestly get there. So this is some of the on-chain analytics. Now, this is one of the projects which I've actually seen in the last few days, where we can actually see that they have got a locked period, where they have actually locked their tokens properly and they're actually vesting them properly, which is good because we want to see that. Now, these guys have been very transparent, which is one of the most beautiful things about these guys, which I've seen so far, is that they've been incredibly transparent about the tokenomics, which tokenomics are very important if you guys know me. And as we can see, so we've had unlocked and then burn. When it comes to burn, I don't know what has actually been burned. I don't know which of these may actually be a proper burn wallet, because it doesn't actually say when these are going to be burned or when they will be burned. So it's a bit concerning to me. So I mean, if anybody has any idea where those burn tokens might have gone, please do feel free to sort of comment and actually mention about that, because that could be quite important. And as you can see, there is one wallet which is above 10%, which doesn't have a smart contract icon next to it. And you've also got these other two here, so 6% and 1% of those wallets there. Now, I believe that this wallet is a dev wallet. We will be looking at BSC Check and Token Sniffer to double check that. So I believe that this is some level of a dev wallet, because this wallet is actually supposed to be containing 15%, which I believe is what it is, because it'll either be for, it would be for marketing, because it is already unlocked. So you've got ones which have linear unlocks. It doesn't say how long they're going to be locked for, but we can actually probably briefly find that out if we actually have a look here. So as you can see, so this is the Unicrypt one. And I believe we actually have a look at the proper contract. It might say somewhere. No, I thought that it might have. Sorry guys, my bad. Alright, let's quit out of that bad boy then. So some of those funds have actually gone over to this 0x62CE, which I believe is... sorry, no, I take that back. They have been sent to this wallet. they have had a bunch of tokens sent to this wallet right here. I imagine that some of these wallets may actually be dev wallets, but I don't really find that too likely, especially if especially if some of these others are used for various things. So you've got pre-sale, and you sort of got marketing and all this other jazz. And we can actually have a look at the roadmap as well soon. So BSC Check, what does it tell us about it? It says warning, which is actually one of the better rated ones. So owner renounced. Wow. Okay, that's a big deal. The standard for secure blockchain applications. So owner has been renounced, guys. So in other words, pretty much there can be no, I guess, editing of this, which is fantastic. That is fantastic. Dev wallets. I mean, we don't know any dev wallets. I mean, it does talk about, the top holders info, but yeah. And then so 99% burned or locked, dude. Burn. So it says null, and so they did say that there'll be that 10% burn, so I don't know when that 10% burn is going to be coming around. But yeah, so I think maybe it's just a 10% over time could be an estimation. But yeah, not entirely sure. Okay, so this is 1 month lock. Okay, so that's regarding the airdrop as well, though. So, token sniffer, what does that tell us about this? Buy and sell looks fine. So the only other thing which they say is, the possess less than 5% of token supply. So literally, these are some of the best stats which I've seen on BSC Check and token sniffer for a project. Very good, very good. Not unimpressed at all. We won't be having a look at Unicrypt since I don't feel like we really need to. Their Reddit page, they've only got 4 members, so we're not really going to look at the subreddit stats neither, but we can have a look at the Twitter stats. So within the last 30 days, they've had an increase of about 10,500 followers, which is very nice. And they have had, a few ups and downs, a few moments. One thing which did surprise me though is that when I did have a look at some of their tweets, so unlike other projects which we have had a look at recently, I don't really see any negative comments. Most of these comments are actually of people who are, cool. So, I mean, there is a possibility, and I don't completely know how Twitter works in this area, but, let's say Metagalaxy decides to actually block, like the negative people or whatever, then maybe they can't actually comment. So that's sort of something. But, I mean, if you are, open to anybody commenting, then, anybody can probably say, hey, this project sucks or it's great, right? Another cool thing is that this is actually a play to earn, which is deliciously wonderful. So yeah, in terms of their actual Twitter following and stats, I mean, I think that's pretty good, to be honest. 10,000 out of 138,000. It's not a large amount, but it's enough to show that they are still getting, I guess, following. And also one other thing, so actually we will look at that soon. So some of the Google Trends of the last 90 days. Actually, let's have a look at the last 12 months in terms of Metagalaxy. So, a little bit up and down. And so, big boom during that December time period. In the last 90 days, we've had a big boom on December 25th. And then, haven't really had much searches from then, to be honest. So it's... I don't know if I'd call it going downhill, because we'll be having a look at their roadmap. Now, this is their actual main website, so decentralized play-to-earn metaverse. We will be having a brief look at some of the gameplay, which would be quite nifty. I will be sort of muting that, so this is kind of like a bit of like a teaser, like have a look at us, have a look at the running man. Yeah, so explore play. You guys can pause the video if you want to have a look at that bad boy. So token sale, so sold out, so I believe that this would have been a part of the actual pre-sale, which you could have been a part of if you were interested or if you wanted to. And pre-sale, that is a large percent. They said in their light paper that it was only going to be like 2%. Oh, sorry, 25%. What was I reading? Oh, the airdrop. Okay. Gosh, alright then. That is a very large percent, but anyway, we'll move on. So space map, this is really cool. So I love how open these guys in terms of showing what has been done and what hasn't been done. So BSC launch, token launch, development, audit. So this is awesome. And then so one thing which we see here is they have 2,000 holders, right? And then so that's been reached. The 20,000 has been reached here. 30,000 and 80,000 has been reached as well. So there are currently 90,000 addresses that hold this wallet, and that is pretty impressive, man. That is pretty impressive if you ask me. Yeah, so we'll continue looking. So they have got a few other things which they've done already. You guys can sort of pause and read these things if you want to. But yeah, so they do actually have a CEX listing. Which C? Oh, that would be the bit true. Yeah, okay. Interesting. Very interesting. So maybe, not sure what the yellow marks mean. I imagine maybe currently getting worked on or something like that. Big marketing campaign. So yeah, airdrop has happened. Yeah, so I think that's really cool. And they do, I think, have other games which they're doing with this. So yeah, I'm not really going to go into details in terms of that. So we can have a look at the team shortly. But one thing which is a bit strange is that they say partnerships, and they say that they have partnerships with these guys. Don't know if they actually do have partnerships or if they've just sort of worked alongside them. If anybody has maybe any sort of confirmation things which, you know, say, hey, these guys have actually partners with them to do stuff or whatever, I mean, otherwise I feel like they're kind of misusing the word partner, if that sort of makes sense. So this talks about some of the benefits of having the Megaland token, which, as we can see, so yeah, it's called Megaland instead of Metagalaxy Land. So it says, we define Megaland token as resource of our metagalactic universe. So this token will be used for in-game transactions such as constructing, leveling up, and PvP. So I think that's quite nifty, to be honest. All right, we will we'll move on and have a look at some of the team. Now this name is pronounced John Geddick. Yeah, if I've got that correct. So we don't have any pictures. You know, not too sussed about that. I did actually reverse image search a bunch of these people because I wanted to make sure that actually we have. Actually, no, I've only done it with these top two. And so yeah, so they've only got like genuine things which can be found out about them. So Chung Geddick is the Chief Executive Officer, and he's also had a few other works with which he has done. Nothing which sort of really says to me that it is really, and actually, hang on, this is something a little bit concerning. So, Mobility and Acquisition Area Manager, and also Chief Executive Officer of Metagalaxy Land. So, don't know how he has time to do both. I feel like that'd be really hard to do sort of both, and if you're doing full time in both of those. So that's a bit concerning, but maybe he's just the sort of guy who he gives the work to all the other people, maybe. I don't know, isn't that what a CEO does? Sorry if anybody's a CEO watching this or knows anybody. I could just be having a bad view of that. So anyway, yeah, so in terms of background, it doesn't seem like he has much... Doesn't seem like we have much examples of experience in terms of what he brings to the table. Not going to pronounce the name, sorry. So only 53 connections, quite small. So I feel like maybe this is probably a quite new account from what I understand. I also don't like the fact that he doesn't actually link the proper companies. That's not a very good sign. I don't like that very much. So he's self-employed, and Metagalaxy Land, of course, is the main thing as well. Oh, and he also listed his university. Yeah, so he's the CFO, so I don't really know what he kind of brings to the table, other than, I mean, it says that he's been the founder and co-founders and head of strategy, but, I mean, at least, you know, like, clean up the stuff a little bit more to, you know, like, make it a bit more appealing to us. Not going to pronounce the name or where he's from, or any of these things except for science director, because that's English. Yeah, so in terms of what he has done in the past, I cannot read this language. It is not English. So yeah, experienced doctor with demonstrated history of working in the hospital and healthcare industry. Oh, that's cool. So he's actually, so it says that he is the COO, which is, I believe, Chief Operating Officer. And he doesn't even list it under his list of specialties, which is a bit concerning. Although it says that the last thing which he has done is from 2021, so maybe he just hasn't updated it. I'm not entirely sure what he's actually been doing with that. So he's had a background in doctor things, and also Denise. So she's one of the coordinators, which she is also part of the supervising division. And she doesn't really list anything on her things neither. So yeah, in terms of these guys and their experience, like, usually I'm always impressed by people's sort of like backgrounds and everything, but we don't really have much to go on, dude. And I didn't really look up the rest of these guys, because yeah, I mean, it's just too much to do for sort of one video. Yeah, and I wanted these to be a little bit shorter. So yeah, in terms of what I've seen so far, I'm not really impressed, to be honest, dude. Like, this just... I mean, the fact that these guys, from what I have seen in terms of their blockchain analytics, the fact that I have seen that these guys are like almost better than like a whole bunch of other guys who claim to have genuine backgrounds in like blockchain and everything, that is a huge bonus. That is an absolutely huge bonus for these guys. And I mean, the ownership is renounced. Like, that is a big deal. And 99% burned or locked. Like, this is a big deal when it comes to the liquidity pool and all this sort of jazz, dude. Like this is, to me, this is quite attractive. Yeah. So I still don't understand exactly where they get that 99% from, because this wallet, and this wallet they don't look to be locked. So they could, be kind of like bought and sold and stuff like that. If anybody has any explanation for how BSC Check does their thing in terms of being locked, that'd be awesome. I also didn't end up messaging BSC Check and Token Sniffer. Sorry, guys. So here are my final thoughts about the project. Should you invest into it? That is one of the main questions which we want to be asking ourselves. So we have a look at some of the data, relevant experience, interviews. Yeah, I think, gosh, we don't have any interviews with these guys, but I think that because they've got such a strong roadmap, the fact that we've actually seen gameplay, the fact that the team genuinely seems to be doxed, I mean, these are all major good signs. I mean, ownership is being renounced. I mean, as I say, BSC Check and Token Sniffer, these are some of the highest results that I've ever seen on a project. Because I do tend to, like go around where, like a bunch of the other scat coins might be. So yeah. So if you want to invest in this, I think definitely invest into this. I mean, and maybe by chance, I have no idea what that random dip was for, dude, but that dip looks sussy as. If you ask me, that looks like, what the heck even caused that? Like, did like a major player sell a bunch or something? I don't actually know. Maybe that has something to do with this wallet here. Yeah, so that would probably make sense actually if we briefly had a look at it. So when did that happen? Oh, okay, so that was 23 days ago. So yeah, I don't think it would have been that, because this happened within the last 7 days. So yeah. So my final thoughts on this. Am I going to invest in this? I'll think about it. I'll consider it. I mean, some of the comments from what the community thinks, best token 2022. I think it will be the Shiba Inu of this year. And I mean, I think they possibly could be right, dude. I think that this genuinely has a lot of potential. I mean, and if this market cap of 2 million is correct, brother, you are in early. You are in early to the game. Yeah, but my advice for these guys, fix up their YouTube. I haven't seen them have a Discord, but that would be really cool as well if they did have a Discord, from what I could find. So yeah, that's the video, guys. Please consider liking and subscribing and commenting some really cool stuff. Yeah, remember, we are about facts, about truth. And if you guys want, you are very welcome to join my Patreon. You can become an advocate and get early access, and you can get special fan requests and I don't know, bunch of other stuff if you really want it, or if you don't want any of that jazz and you just want to support me, then that's okay as well. But yeah, really want to keep on trying to do this sort of jazz full time. Yeah, and please be kind to one another. Be generous to each other. Be kind in the comments and show love to your neighbor. Yeah. Fare thee well.